All right, I'm out here taking a walk. I was like, because I'm in Florida now, I was like, do I need to get a hoodie? Because sometimes it's a little chilly in the winter, but usually you're okay to just walk outside and the weather will be great, and of course it is. Gorgeous day, 79 and sunny, very few clouds in the sky, a very particular type of breeze that I hope it doesn't muffle the audio too bad, but lately it hasn't been, so should be good. I was watching Godis, who I'll be talking a little bit more about in this audio for the actual topic of the audio, but in one of his live streams he said something interesting, like about whether it's normal or, so to speak, natural for Europeans to immigrate to tropical climates during the winter. Obviously he had a hard time saying overtly that it was natural, because planes are man-made, cars are man-made, and therefore Europeans traditionally had no way to actually immigrate to a tropical climate in the winter and then just immigrate back. But basically he said that the effects that it offers are healthy, are natural, and that if you could do it, it actually would be ideal. But it sounded like he didn't really want to overtly say it, that it was, so to speak, normal, but that in a world where it was sunny all year round, that would not necessarily be bad for people of European descent. So pretty interesting point I feel like going on about. But so the main topic of this audio is one of severe importance, and I'll say deep importance, not severe. Severe makes it sound a little too much. But and I was going to make this audio for a friend, and I was going to make it in a bit of a different way, but given that this topic is something I kind of want to talk more about in general, I'll probably just make it for the channel. So, and it is on the topic of work and play. And I've obviously been watching a lot of Godis or Sverige or Severage, however you say his name. His whole perspective of life goes down into things that are either natural or man-made, natural or artificial, natural or unnatural. And one of the common themes with this discussion is how he considers all work, every facet of anything you could ever consider to be work, unnatural. In nature, humans did not work. There was no work. Now, this is so contrary to what the system gets you to believe, which is that life is so wonderful these days. You have it so easy. You just go into an office for 8 hours and you don't have to do much. It's okay. Even though everyone's miserable, everyone knows there's something wrong about it, you're told the exact opposite. He basically says in nature, no one ever did any work. All you did, and now mind you, he's probably talking, when I like to think of this guy's world model, I like to think of it from pre-civilization, because civilization itself is man-made, and everything about society, culture, civilization, that's all man-made. That's not natural at all. So yeah, I'm thinking of like caveman era, probably even before language, because language is also man-made. So, in that time period, all you did was sleep an exorbitant amount, most likely more than 8 or 9, like we get today, if you're lucky. Some people are sick in certain ways and can only get 6 or less, and their lives are hell. There's just no way you can have a good life on 6. Like Andrew Tate, I get 6 hours and wake up and drink coffee. It's the exact opposite of natural and normal. He gets 6 hours of sleep or less, which is unnatural. He gets up, he drinks coffee. He drinks 2 liters of water, forces himself to drink water, which is unnatural. So now you have 2 unnatural things. 2 liters forces it down. If you're thirsty, it might be natural to drink water. But even Godus has gone long periods without drinking water, which I find interesting. Although he does say he drinks fruit juice and other kinds of like coconut water and stuff like that. But even beyond that, drinking that much water just against what your body tells you to stop drinking this, he keeps going. That's unnatural. Then he fasts, which is unnatural. You would never starve yourself, ever. No animal would. And so that's unnatural. And then, to top it off, he drinks coffee, which is toxic, which puts your body into a stressful state, produces endorphins. That's why you get energy from it. Now, I'm not saying I don't drink coffee, but I'm saying you don't need it, and it's killing you. It's stressing your body. It's not healthy by any means. People say coffee's healthy. It's not healthy. It's like a bean soup. It's really toxic. But I mean, yeah. So Andrew Tate's whole morning routine is the epitome of unnatural. But in nature, yeah, you probably slept 9 hours or more. And what else you did? All you did other than that was play. You'd have your lover around, you'd play, and I really mean it in kind of a faggy way. Like you would play in a faggy way, like just in nature with the forest and the trees. Like that was it. That's what you would do. And whatever children you guys had, you'd play with them, and that was life. You'd sleep and you'd play. You say, well, what about food? How'd you hunt your own food? Well, most likely, I think people severely overestimate how much energy was expended on hunting, first off. But beyond that, you would never do any work beyond what was necessary to eat. That was it. Eat and survive, that was it. And no, you didn't need to lift man-made weights that you see in gyms or anything else like that. Like you didn't need to pump steroids in your body or what else? You know, what else do people do these days in fitness? You're stressing your body out with that, and you're lowering lifespan. But yeah, so you know, people who work out all day every day and they're obsessed with fitness, that's unnatural for sure, because you didn't need to even be that fit to probably hunt your own food. And women for sure would do no exercise pretty much. But the main thing is just that, yeah, the amount of quote unquote work you're subjected to today is significantly higher than the amount of work you would do back then. And so I guess really to get off of all the side tangents and to get to the main point I'm trying to get to right now is that all work, and I really mean all work, is self-enslavement, or rather even potentially real enslavement. If you're being subjected by a government to go get money in order to survive, that's enslavement, literally. It's unnatural enslavement to the fullest extent of the word. That is slavery. Work is slavery, really. Because if it wasn't work, it'd be play. Everything would fall into these two categories, work and play. There's nothing that could potentially fall into a category that isn't those two things. So, which I guess you could maybe say energy conservation or sleep, where you just kind of lay there. Maybe that's not playing or working, you're just relaxing. So maybe relaxing. Taking it easy is really the third thing. So, which is, that increases lifespan maximally. The best way to increase lifespan beyond the diet stuff is to just literally take it easy. Low resting heart rate, stay calm, take it easy. That is the best way to live to 80, 90 plus. And he claims people can live way longer than that, but anyway. So the point here is this. Work is unnatural, play is not, right? So people who are playing all the time, that's normal. But what does society reward? Society rewards work. Society and the system reward work. And the thing about it is, all the results you're going to get in modern day are going to be from things that you generally don't enjoy. It's throwing yourself for hours at something you don't enjoy, and it's yielding some kind of outcome from that. And there's something to say about the fact that self-enslavement and self-discipline are sort of the same topic, just with a different spin. Like self-discipline, it's sort of the same thing as self-enslavement. Some people will say, oh, I need to get disciplined, but that just means you need to work on something you really don't want to work on. It's not fun, and so you need to enslave yourself. And people talk about this trait of self-discipline like it's the number one differentiator between people who are rich and poor and all these other things, and that's because it's true. Now let's spin this topic on its head and talk about the good sides to work and the good sides to self-discipline, self-enslavement, because when you look at European civilization, which again is man-made, and I know I kind of made it sound like all man-made things are bad, but if we take it from the perspective that things that are man-made are good, because I like to play both sides. If you look at civilization, the peak of civilization was the Greeks. It was people who were extremely obsessed with fitness, lifting. They were obsessed with these sculptures, where these nude sculptures of men, and particularly these sculptures embodied people who were very physically fit. And just basically the whole point I'm trying to get at is the civilizations and cultures that produce the highest form of beauty in the world, and they came to conquer everything else, were ones that were obsessed with self-enslavement and obsessed with self-discipline on every level. The elites, the upper class, the middle class, the lower class. The more that they focused on physical fitness and self-enslavement, because again, those two things are the same thing, the better the society came out to be. And it is very true that if you want to be successful in modern society, the best thing you could do is cultivate self-discipline. Do things that your body basically tells you not to do more than anything else. Go for a run, work out, lift. Generally, that's the number one way to cultivate self-discipline, is to work out. I'm speaking from somebody who generally has struggled my whole life to work out. And it's the case that I think I'm pretty dedicated now to trying to work out every day. I'm going to at least try to. It's pretty much my number one goal for the year. And that's just to cultivate self-discipline. I'm not going into it thinking it's healthy. I'm not going into it thinking it's going to make me live longer, because it's not healthy and it's not going to make me live longer. I'm not going into it thinking that it's going to get me laid, because I've gotten laid twice now without it. And I don't think there's any correlation with being fit and being laid. There are countless bodybuilders who can't get laid at all. And there are countless average, literally just normal looking dudes who they cannot stop getting laid, especially the ones that C-Max. It's unbelievable the results they get. So there's no correlation with that at all. Women, when they like your body being built, what they really like is the fact that you can override your limbic system with your prefrontal cortex and enslave yourself. They want a guy who can be self-disciplined, and they do admire that trait. A fat male embodies somebody who's normal, sort of, because that person's just playing, sleeping, and eating a lot of animal fat, and that's natural. But the thing is they don't reward that, right? They reward people who are sort of self-disciplined and people who work hard. So hard work, and this is what I want to talk about a little bit, is hard work is the embodiment of what you need to succeed in society. There's nothing else. You don't need this or that. And people talk about all these other things. You need connections. You need schooling or no schooling. Make a business. Do that. You just need extremely high amounts of self-discipline and hard work, and you'll absolutely make it in the system. It doesn't matter how ugly you are. It doesn't matter this or that. If you work hard as fuck, and work, again, is extremely unnatural and toxic. But if you do it every day, just throw yourself at something you really don't want to do, and you keep your attitude good despite that, of course you'll be successful to the system. There's nothing better you could do. Enough talking strategy, just work and shut up about it. Stop being a bitch, really, because that's my biggest problem, is I'm a complainer. I grew up around women, I complain. I have all these issues psychologically, and of course it's natural to complain if you have to do things that your body rejects, but you know, what else is there to say about it? Do you want to be successful within the system or not? If you do, you need to work hard. So that's the only advice I have for the people who actually care about modernity and want to be successful is, yeah, just always have a good attitude, always work hard, and just stay consistent with those two things. Whatever you do from there, I promise you, the more self-enslaved you are, the more you're enslaved by others, the more of a slave you are. Trust me, the better you'll rank up in the system. But if you don't care about that and you want to live more in alignment with your nature, then maybe don't work. Maybe get on as much bullshit SSI or government assistance as you can get. Relax, take it easy, eat a ton of animal fat. Spend a lot of time in nature, get a lot of sun, like me in Florida, getting a lot of sun. Take it easy, spend time with your lover. Like me, I spent years just sitting in a room with someone I enjoyed being around. Probably 10 arguments total. Soon as I move, it crumples. Soon as work gets involved, unnatural things get involved, it crumples. But if you just spend time and that's it, it works. Just residing and enjoying company, that's normal. If you read red pillars or talk to red pillars, they say, oh, don't spend too much time with your woman. Don't do this, don't do that. All these unnatural things. And oh, it breeds attachment, it breeds attraction. And I'm not saying that that's not true in certain ways, but Spirit even says that that's unnatural. It's not normal, and yeah, you should just be spending all your time with them. If you really like someone, that's what you would do. So, and it is true. We did that, no problem. So, two sides to the same coin, and it's unbelievable the way I'm modeling this in my head these days. The difference between work and play. And I can't stress this enough. If you really want to yield some result, and you want to feel something because you're the kind of person who is, so to speak, quote unquote, ambitious, but you don't feel like that thirst is being quenched. You really do just need to work harder with a vision. Build a vision, work hard towards it, and that's it. And that just means you're somebody who can't be idle. You like being enslaved. For one reason or another, you like being enslaved, even if it's enslaving yourself. Maybe it's some kind of trauma bonding. Maybe it's some other reason. There are some people who just have no problem taking it easy. INTPs, INFPs. There are some people who just, they can't be idle. If they're just needing, they go mad. And I'm one of those people. I've been in NEAT for 1,000 days, or I was in NEAT for 1,000 days. And it wasn't suited for me. I just need to work hard towards something. So I don't know if I've been brainwashed for that or if that's just genetic, like you just do have that kind of underlying ambition. But the system likes people who are ambitious and who work hard and who produce something to the system. Being rich, living a luxurious lifestyle isn't hard if you're ambitious because you'll work very hard. Ambition is not about having big dreams. It's about working extremely hard. But in turn, yeah, you won't live a long life. No, by no means you will. You're going to diminish lifespan, and yeah, you're stressing your body and your mind. That's what it is about. Hard work is about stressing your body and its mind to its limits. And stress, again, creates those kinds of hormones that just absolutely reduce lifespan. So I hope I'm building this model up in your guys' head, sort of painting a picture for you. The difference between work and play. I'm not saying either one is better than the other. I know it might sound like I'm more biased towards the play, but I'm really not, because I'm somebody who's at the point in my life where if I don't start working hard and doing something, things aren't going to end up very good for me because of the way in which the system has enslaved me. So, and I have an audio coming out soon. It's a stream highlight where I talk about rebelling against the system. There's nobody who's rebelling against the system. But yeah, so if you're not going to rebel against the system, you're in it. And if you're in it, you're enslaved. And if you're enslaved and you're not working, you're not going to end up very safe or in a good spot. So yeah, I'm shilling hard work. I am. But I'm also shilling play. It's weird. I just think they're good in different ways. They're not to be overlapped. You know? They really are not to be overlapped. But I find a lot of men, they just don't, you know, like they do naturally want to play. And when they're playing, they're having fun. But there's also this side of them that wants to work hard. It's weird. I don't know what that is, but I feel like I have it myself, and I feel like a lot of people have it, you know? It seems to be the case that it's like a paradox. Like you're not fulfilled unless you're playing, but you're not fulfilled unless you're working. But they're different sides of unfulfillment. Two different ways of being unfulfilled. When you're working nonstop and you just hate it, you hate the hard work, that's a different type of emotion than when you're playing 24/7 and you just feel like you're not going anywhere, you know? That's a different emotion as well. Like, there's just something about that, like working hard towards something that feels really good. So yeah, I mean, the reality is, he says it all the time too, it's addiction. You're addicted to the endorphins. Nobody likes the taste of coffee. It's impossible because you're drinking poison. You're drinking a toxin. Everyone either likes the sugar they put in the coffee, and if you drink it black, you're just addicted to the endorphins. Let's talk about another topic. Every person I interview that talks about working out, when I ask them, well, do you like working out? Why do you work out? What is it? I analyze their psychology. Every single one of them basically just says they love the high. They love the endorphins. So literally, they love the stress chemicals that are killing themselves. It's an addiction. It's the same thing as cutting yourself. When you cut yourself, it produces endorphins, and that's why they cut themselves. Literally, I've been around borderlines that cut themselves. That's literally why they do it, because it releases chemicals that makes them feel good. It's the same thing with coffee too. All endorphins can be released in a variety of ways, but it's all that same chemical. So yeah, that's really what it is. And this is why working out is the number one form of self-enslavement, and why I'm making that correlation here with societies that focus on physical fitness, such as ancient European civilizations that had those fitness sculptures, and successful societies, because societies that focus on physical fitness produce the most beauty in regards to that. You see what I'm saying? Like, they produce the best civilizations of that kind, because there is no greater form of self-enslavement than working out. There is no greater form of self-discipline. Nothing you do after that, you're going to bitch about. You're not going to bitch about having to put in any type of shift at a job. You're not going to bitch about having to do anything else in your day if you work out, because it's the most unnatural thing imaginable that you're subjecting yourself to. And you're doing it every day, and you're also addicted to it. So, yeah, that's sort of that on that topic. But if you see that correlation, which I'm sure you do, then you'll understand why physical fitness breeds the best societies. Whereas modern day ones, we have fat fucks who just sit around, they don't do shit, and you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's really that way. But if we're talking just in nature, then yeah, it's probably more common that people don't work out, right? But I guess that's my message to this audio, to this audio, because I feel like I can't really bring it around to one global point. My global point is that these are two separate categories. They're not to be overlapped. There are many, many things that would fall under work. There are many, many things that would fall under play. Everything would fall under one of these categories. Playing is natural. It's healthy. You want to do it 24/7. And it's not that, oh, you want to work a little bit. No, nobody wants to work ever. But working yields better results. It's almost like it's sort of this newer layer of the brain that's executing that. It's overriding the ancestral layer, and it produces a lot of man-made shit. If you like man-made shit, if you like artificial results, if you like grinding ranks in video games, if you like... See, video games are the best example of this for people that are actually made it this far. Video games are probably the best example of this because you have people who can just play a game and they play it and they have fun. But it's always when they get to a certain rank, like high diamond, like diamond 2 area, like D2 in any game, around when you get to high diamond or low masters, that is when you start to get extremely stressed when you play, because everyone up there is no longer playing the game. They're working. They've turned the game into a job where they compete in extreme ways for this artificial LP or RP or whatever that game's ranking points is. And the people who are at the very top are working like dogs, and they're genetically gifted in such a way where they end up there. Because these days, some of these ladders have 2 million plus players. So you literally can't get in the highest rank unless you're genetically gifted and you've self-enslaved yourself, putting in 12-hour shifts towards literally a program. You're playing a program that some other person made. They have you completely enslaved for artificial points. And that's sort of the difference. Now, if you take that same person, you give them a Smurf account, you give them a new account, and they play on that fresh account and they're back in gold again, they'll just be relaxed. They'll be playing, they'll be shitting on everyone because they're better, and it'll be more like playing the game, or like when you play casuals or unranked. That's a good example where you're very relaxed and you're playing the game and you're back in your natural state. So that's my point. But there's a lot of guys out there, and I don't know if this is genetic or what. I'm curious what you guys think about this. Is this something you're indoctrinated to get addicted to, or is this something that's genetic? I'm inclined to believe it is somewhat genetic. Slave genes are a thing. I really do think certain genes are more inclined to really be bonded to slavery. And there's some people who just can't enjoy playing a game just to play it. They don't enjoy playing games. They only enjoy working extremely hard towards world records or speedrun world records, or getting a extremely high ladder rank in a PvP game or something like that. Kind of, they have to turn everything into a competition. That is somebody who is obsessed with work. They're obsessed with man-made ideals. They're obsessed with man-made goals and things like that. And they just want to be the best at man-made things. And I don't know what causes that. It's probably a mix of indoctrination and genetics. But I imagine it is largely a genetic trait, because I do think over the years the gene pool has sort of separated itself into masters and serfs, and certain people are just more slave-like than others. After so many generations of slavery, I can't imagine that hasn't altered the brain in some way, or I don't know. I can't really be sure. I really don't know for sure. It could be totally wrong about this, but I do think certain genes, certain people are just more, they are just destined to be slaves. You can't turn a slave into a master, and you can't turn a master into a slave. So, but these days, even the masters, they work extremely hard. I don't know about the top elite. I won't talk about them, but I'm saying generally, okay, let's just be honest. Anybody within the system or society itself that's living within the system, they are working extremely hard. Success to the system is hard work and basically man-made shit. So honestly, I feel like I could have explained this concept better, but I've been having a hard time really... Actually, you know what? This is the best I've explained the concept yet. So I'm I'm pretty happy with this video because I've been trying to really articulate this concept for weeks now, and I feel like I finally got it out in a pretty concise way. It's just the idea that there are these two categories. One is natural, one's unnatural, but neither are particularly bad. You have to figure out what you want to optimize for. You know what I'm saying? It's really the case. If you want to optimize for a normal, long life, try to neat, take it easy. If you want to be the best in the system you could possibly be, if you have a lot of ambition and you're really motivated by man-made shit, and you like civilization and you like society. Maybe you actually like societies and civilization. You like man-made shit. If that's how you are, then and you want to be successful, so to speak, all these like red pillars talking about success. You got to get bitches. You got to get money. You got to get this. Then yeah, work is the only way there. So hard work, specifically the more you hate something, probably that's the more you should be doing it if you want to be quote unquote successful. Of course, Godus would probably find that concept laughable, that somebody who's working hard would be successful. He laughs at that idea because he just sees right through it. You know, he sees it that way. But then there are other people who, you know, they have a manor, their own family built 50-acre house out in the middle of their own land somewhere in the U.S., and they're incredibly case selected. They invest a fuck ton into their kids. They have a career. They're well respected in that career. You know, and they have all this man-made shit, and they absolutely love that life. They love the life that the system has given them. And one way or another, that's just how they like to live. And they got that way from working extremely hard. Very, very hard work. So either way, if you guys have anything else to add to these two categories, I think you should give examples or something in the comments, because I know there are people who know what I'm talking about and could probably add more to it. Like other examples of work, other examples of play, because these topics run very deep. There's way more examples than what I've given in this audio. I've just laid the groundwork of pretty much describing the two categories and pretty much describing what they stand for. You know what I mean? What they're good for. One is good for an ancestral environment. The other is good for a modern environment. And it's just that simple.